Are judges held to a standard to understand what an absolute right is? The simple answer is yes, absolutely. Judges are held to the highest standards of legal knowledge, including a thorough understanding of fundamental principles like absolute rights, natural rights, and statutory rights. But what happens if they don't uphold these principles, or worse, act in ways that undermine them? Let's start with what we know. Absolute rights, such as those outlined in Article 16 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, ICCPR, guarantee recognition as a person before the law. Judges are expected to understand this concept from the outset of their role. Ignorance is no excuse. Now, let's say you bring Article 16 of the ICCPR before a judge, claiming that you're being forced into recognition as a legal person contrary to your natural personhood. This would directly challenge the judge's adherence to international human rights standards. If you witness this breach yourself, clearly articulated and substantiated, you don't have to engage in prolonged civil debates. Instead, you can move directly to criminal court. Why? Because you've seen the violation, and you can express and prove it. Judges are held to a higher standard precisely because they have the knowledge and obligation to act within the framework of law. If they knowingly or willfully take actions aimed at the destruction of an absolute right, they've failed their duty. The Criminal Code of Canada holds them accountable for such breaches. Under Sections 119 and 131 of the Criminal Code, actions like judicial corruption or misleading justice can lead to serious consequences. Judicial immunity may protect judges from civil liability, but it does not shield them from criminal accountability. But here's where it gets tricky. Prosecuting a judge often requires the Attorney General's consent. What if that consent is refused? If the Attorney General fails in their duty to act, you can take the next step, laying an information against the Attorney General themselves. Under the Criminal Code, complicity or neglect of duty must also be addressed. No one is above the law, not even those tasked with upholding it. For judges, attorneys general, and others in positions of power, willful breaches of justice carry an immense responsibility. Accountability isn't just about punishment. It's about maintaining trust in the system. Without it, the rule of law becomes meaningless. Remember, knowledge is power, and understanding your rights empowers you to take action. To learn more about absolute rights and how to hold officials accountable, visit eternallyaware.com.